I think everything's bigger for us this year. We've attended for the last, I think this is our fourth show. First time it was just me and a table and some pull-ups, and actually last year it wasn't a huge amount more than that, but we found that the interest in the brand's been growing. That's largely down to the work we've been doing at a local level, working with new partners, but we're also entering new categories with our products. So we have been historically a very consumer-focused brand, although our end customers haven't always been the consumers that we're sort of intending the products for. And PoE is a big part of our range, networking, and actually that's being used in more of a prosumer channel. What we've found is that Reolink as a brand is mentioned widely as very friendly in terms of cross-platform integration, so working with NAS storage, things like Synology and QNAP, we play very nicely. We're one of the easiest brands to work with Home Assistant. And the biggest thing for me actually is, rather than it being the kind of typical installer and tradesperson buying the security products, we're speaking to more electricians and tradespeople who are looking at smart home integration. And we've just got our Homey partnership across the line. That's opening up new markets for us. But the biggest thing for us here, and most specific to the security event, is the new Pro range that we're launching. And we're having a huge amount of interest there. I think one of the things with Reolink, as we're a consumer brand available through consumer channels, there's a lot of visible pricing out there, but the Pro range is being designed with specific features, different build quality, extended warranties, additional support, and those products are only for the trade, so they're not going to be available to buy through those consumer channels. So we're still covering everything from Wi-Fi consumer through to PoE, now with specific focus on the trade, and then the 4G stuff. So remote security is a huge thing for us. We're meeting customers like OpenReach, Network Rail, BT Transport Police, who are actively using our products, and as I say, those commercial applications of our devices seems to be growing. But the show's busier, it's bigger for us, there seem to be more people, and I think we've always treated it as a UK show, including this year. It's just the UK team here, but certainly next year, from the people we've been meeting, it is much more of an international show. We're meeting customers from Africa, we're meeting customers from the Middle East, lots of European customers. So I think, whereas you just see the UK team here this year, you'll probably see a lot more of us from across the globe. So it's great event, really good event for us this year. No, certainly for a UK-based strategy, with the Pro range coming out now, it's incredibly important. We've got distribution partners here, existing customers, but those new business opportunities, the amount of interest that we're getting, it's noticeably grown. So we do a lot of consumer events, CES and IFA, and I think the security event for us is the number one event as we start to move more and more into that commercial world. Wow. So, the USP is that we don't really have a core offering. We have such a wide offering. We do everything from entry-level Wi-Fi cameras for monitoring pets, for aged care. We sell a lot of devices for people who've got elderly relatives and they just want to, keep a close eye on without having to always be calling round. We do doorbells, floodlights, we do bullet cameras, pan tilts. We've got a new Omni range, which is again bridging that sort of specification from consumer into professional, multi-lens, 16 times optical zoom, and we do those types of solutions in mains powered Wi-Fi, we do them in battery Wi-Fi, we do them hardwired PoE, but we also do 4G solutions. So actually there are areas of the range quite specific to certain sort of end customers. The new Pro range for that installer and trade, those 4G cameras, they're huge in equestrian. I've gone to forums like Horse and Hound, and we're the number one recommended camera for people who've got horses in stables that they just want to monitor. So I think our USP is that we don't focus on any one particular type of product or installation. We have a range of products across the board, but we are firmly in our lane. A lot of brands that we are perceived to compete with, they offer entire suites of home security products, energy lighting, video security, alarm security. We're staying in our lane. We've done video camera design and manufacturing since 2009. We've been doing this longer than a lot of the big brands that you see here, and we're staying in that lane. But what's important for us as a smart home consumer brand, but also now a more professional smart home brand, is that cross-platform integration. Home Assistant, Homey, as I say, we see the guys from QNAP here talking about that the future integration, how we can improve on that. We're always about working as broadly as we can with other smart home platforms and products, but we are a camera brand. Long term, potentially. I think we're good at what we do. I think trying to be a jack of all trades and ultimately ending up with mediocre product. We're making great product. You don't have to look too far across various channels that we sell through to look at consumer reviews. I was just chatting to a guy. We have incredibly low returns in our products. Last year, given the channels that we're selling through, those consumer channels, people change their minds. You get a lot of buyer remorse, so we do get a lot of no fault found sort of returns. Occasionally there's faulty products, it's the nature of the beast, but overall our return rate's below 1%, and I think that's a testament to the fact that we're very good at what we do. We're making quality product that works, that's intuitive and easy to use, and that's our focus. It's accessible security products, very easy to set up, very easy to use. We're good at that. We'll keep doing that. Will that change? I don't know. There's no plans in the immediate roadmap. Well, generally and specifically to Reolink, AI is huge. It's a huge headline for us. We announced it last year at IFA. It's sort of developed and launched at CES. We're now actively selling products with AI in. That AI functionality at its most basic level, it's about the cameras working for you. It's about camera being proactive rather than reactive. Cameras capture video, going back and finding out what happened is a laborious task, knowing when it happened, knowing what happened, what you're looking for. And now things like Smart Search, which is part of Rio Neura, so our AI headline title is Rio Neura. Smart Search allows you to use natural language to literally just ask the device to show you what it is you're looking for. So a neighbour could have seen an instant where a guy in a red hoodie and blue trousers was running away at a particular time. You can literally just put man in red hoodie, blue trousers, running, and it will understand the objects, it will understand the colours, it will understand the action, and it will literally, and it's so quick, filter those videos down and just present those videos. The other element of that, and something that's coming longer term with AI, is being able to summarise those events. So rather than just having those video files, which when you go in via an app or into the software, just come up as still images, it will be able to give you an event description because it's recognising items, because it's recognising colours and those actions. It will give you a text summary and send it like a message that this is what's just happened. A person on a bike just called by, a delivery driver has left a parcel, and those object recognitions now extend beyond people, person, vehicles. It will do object detection, it will do item left, it will do things like zone loitering, people counting, it does things like heat mapping, and those are standard features throughout our AI. But the biggest thing for us is we recognise that people are very protective over data. They're very apart from not wanting to pay ongoing fees for cloud storage or cloud services, there's a bit of a reluctance there, is that if you own that data, if it's local to your device, if it's not disappearing anywhere, you feel a lot more secure. So not only are you cutting costs without subscriptions, but all of our AI is inbuilt into the hardware. There's no ongoing fees, there's no paying extra for those extra features. If it's marketed on the product, it's in the product, and it's there, it's your data, your privacy. So Reolink have always been innovators. We've always and generally been first to market with a lot of new technologies. I guess one of the things that we're seeing coming out across the range a lot more are things like multi-lens technologies, so dual lens technologies. We have a couple of key technologies in the area. Our Duo range, which is two cameras pointing in opposite directions. With the software, the camera stitching those images together, gives you complete 180-degree field of view. We've had that in a camera range. We've now extended that into our floodlight range. That same technology is available across PoE, Wi-Fi, battery Wi-Fi. We've even got 4G dual lens camera, which is launching very soon. We do another dual lens camera on our pan-tilt zoom lenses, which gives you 2 video streams, a fixed wide angle and an automatic zoom-in lens, so you get everything that's going on and a close-up of the subject. You can access those videos individually, and we're combining those technologies now. So things like the Omni series, you'll see these sort of multi-lens cameras have got that wide-angle dual lens fixed on the camera with a separate pan-tilt zoom. So you can have that sort of wide angle covering everything with a pan-tilt zoom, tracking round, following the subject, but it also means you can cover much larger areas. So you can have 180 degree covered by the top of the camera. The pan tilt can be pointed in an opposite direction, but if motion's picked up on one of the wide angle cameras, the pan tilt will turn all the way around, track, and then follow the subject. So, really efficient security, one camera, one video stream into an NVR, multiple video feeds, and ultimately, huge coverage. Combine that with the AI and everything that the software is able to do, and the whole solution's becoming a lot smarter. So we're seeing that multi-lens thing as an emerging product. The other thing is more on our consumer focus. We're working with chipset providers like Qualcomm. So we worked in a project with Qualcomm for a new micro power Wi-Fi chipset. Basically that improves efficiency of batteries by up to 96%. So where you may be getting 4 or 5 months up on a camera, and the battery would deplete. Sometimes the solar isn't quite enough to keep the battery charged. You have to take it down, you have to physically charge it, put it back up. So that type of consumer has the perception that solar power is the easiest thing to do, but long term it can be a bit labour intensive. The Qualcomm chipset extends that battery life by almost double, so 5 months becomes almost 9 months of battery life based on typical 30 events a day. Added to that, those battery products on Qualcomm, we're no longer using rechargeable batteries. They use standard AA cells, so when that battery does run out after 9 months, quickly pop it back off, new batteries in, back up and running, within a minute, a couple of minutes just to reposition the camera. And for the solar power products, we're subsidising that now with new solar technology, and we're using a technology called summaries. These new solar panels can be a lot smaller, they don't require direct sunlight, they can be used on our doorbell products, on the porchways, they can be used on the north side of a building, and I've been testing our new floodlight camera and I was really dubious, one because the solar panel was smaller, but also because it's got floodlights on it, so it's using a lot more power. And I put that up in December, ran it through January, and even to date, and that camera hasn't dropped below 100%. It's these technologies are improving the performance of products in so many ways, and I'm really pleased to see that we're announcing this long before many of our competitors, just evidence that we really are sort of innovators in that space. Maintaining the great business that we've achieved and looking after those customers. We're applying more resource, so we've doubled our headcount in the UK, we've doubled our support team in the UK HQ. We're going to continue to invest locally. Our channel marketing, so we're taking on a new brand PR person local to the UK, so whereas our marketing's all been done globally, we recognise a lot more localisation. Education, so we're working with partners on training people on how to install our products, particularly with the new Pro range. We're working at grassroots level, so even getting involved with colleges on how to not just work with Reolink products, but how our products can integrate into smart home. So I think there's a lot of great product out there, but it's about informing people, how does it work, how can I use it, how can it benefit my business, and from an installer's perspective, it's a minefield, and a lot of these guys understand camera technology, they understand the installation process, but that smart home compatibility, what works with what, how does it work, how can it work, how amazing can it be? Things like Home Assistant are great platforms, but they're not straightforward. They can do amazing things, but people don't quite understand that. So as a brand, we recognise the importance of being involved, of getting that right at an early level, getting people adopted into the brand and understanding the smart home better. We'll be doing a lot of work there. But ultimately, huge number of leads to follow up from the show, lots of new channels to explore, and I think we've just got to prioritise. We always want to do what we do well. We don't want a scattergun approach. We want to be focused on where we know we can be successful, not just for us but for our partners. And so that's the challenge, and onwards and upwards. So we've had a busy few years, and I don't see it getting any quieter anytime soon.